Hey everyone, thank you for joining me today. So today's video, I'm still going to be scrapping some pictures from the Make and Mingle weekend. It's probably going to be on my channel for a bit because it just happened and it was a big vacation for me. So I'm pulling out Document It from Bella Boulevard, and I printed out all my photos to be 2x2. And we're going to use the Simple Stories stencil for it's the big grid with everything being 2x2, but we're going to play here. The first thing I'm going to do is actually attach this black and white polka dotted to some black foundations paper. And I do this sometimes when I'm using papers that aren't as thick as like 49 and Market, or like Marshmallow and stuff like that from Basil. I always attach them to something because sometimes you just don't want it to be flimsy. And then this piece I'm going to use to cut out my blue paper. We're going to use that. I'm going to put it in the corner and then just trace a pink line along the top and the side. And then we're going to go ahead and cut that out. And I will say, I probably should have like done the line twice because that pink line was super light. And trying to line it up was a bit of a, if I say so myself. But either way, we wind up making it. And I think it's perfect. So now I'm going to take my Pixie spray off camera real quick and just spray it enough so that way once it dries, it's got a little bit of tack to it. And we're going to go ahead and place that down on top of our blue pattern paper. And now we're going to start cutting out the photo to figure out exactly where the photos are going to go. So I've recently gotten the Espin photo maker, and I'm learning. I'm still exploring it. So I've been having fun though. I realized with this little cutter here, I had to clean it off real quick because it had gotten some particles from like a paper or something underneath. So we're just going to try and put this back together real quick, and then we'll cut out our photos because they're 4x6s, but it's got like three 2x2s on it. So we're going to try and trim these down. And one of these, I wind up printing twice because one of the photos, one of the ladies' faces got cut off, so I had to reprint it. But this is what we're thinking about. What I'm thinking about doing with this is that not all of this is going to wind up being photos. We're going to do some just plain sheets of paper, little 2x2 pieces of paper inside, so we can add some elements from like the die cuts and things like that. So at first I was playing around with it being like kind of like a checkered idea, but you'll see we're going to have a few different versions, I guess you should say. And then one of these I did twice by accident, but we're only going to use one of the photos. All right, and trim this one down. And two of the photos, it's most of these are all with Anna, one of our members of my little scrapbook store, and she took selfies with each of the design team members, and I was like, oh, this is too perfect. So I had initially like our pictures individually, and then I have everyone that she took with us, and then one that she took with Michelle. And then I had one of me and Beatrice at bingo night when we were having fun playing free bingo. And I wasn't sure exactly like how we were going to make this happen. And I realized I'm not liking the setup. So what I was thinking is let's rearrange, and I'm going to start taking some of the photos off and we'll see which ones work best. So I realized I still had to get Beatrice and Gina onto the layout just with the design team members. So I'm going to save Anna and Michelle for another layout. And then we're going to start laying down the photos for these. And I'm just using the tape runner and a little bit of glue. And what I love about these stencils is that once you lay down your stuff inside and you peel the plastic piece off, you have these even grids that are so easy, instead of like, especially for someone like me who I really don't care for the most part if it's like super straight and even. This gives me that without me having to worry about it, which is great. So I think that's why once I figured out how to use them, I've been like, yes, please, because I love a good grid. You give me a good grid, and I just think like sometimes it just makes it so much simpler, right? So now I'm going to take one of the pattern papers and I'm going to cut out 4 sheets, and they're going to be 2 by 2. And you're going to see as I cut them, I'm going to put them in, going around in the circle. And I do wind up moving that one that I put, the second one, I move it up, and so that every other one is the pattern papers. And then I look into my scraps from this collection, and I'm going to cut this yellow paper at 2 inches, and then cut 4 2-inch pieces for the other 4 pieces. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and put these in, and we'll go ahead and get these glued down as well. And I just like the yellow. The yellow is a great pop of color. It goes well with the blue. And then, of course, you know, the flower pattern paper has all those colors in it as well. I'm going to grab my picky tool. It'll kind of help me in lifting up some of these papers. They're not glued down or anything, but sometimes with no nails, it's hard to like get them out. And it looks like I may be running out of tape. So, of course, while filming, so I'm going to take this time real quick. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. If you want or need a link to the collection that I'm using, you can leave a comment down below as well, and I'll grab that link for you. Not a problem. But I appreciate you guys being here with me with all my videos that I've been trying to put up and be consistent with. So thank you. And if you haven't already, if this is your first time here, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I would so appreciate it. And we're going to continue. We're just putting the glue on the back of these squares. And then after these 2, I think the last 2 are on the left, and then we should be good. All right. And I do the wet glue and the tape if this is your first time being here, because it allows you a little bit of wiggle room before you're having to really commit. It allows you to readjust if you put something down wrong. So that's why I like it. And then look at that grid. I love it. And that polka dot is a fun neutral. That's not solid. It gives you a little bit of something interesting, but I really love how it makes the blue and yellows and all those bright colors just pop off of that. And again, just tape and glue. And then we'll line it up as best we can and place it down. And now we're going to play with some of our ephemera pieces. Now, I was looking here. I definitely wanted to use this camera. Now, I would suggest something that I didn't do here that I should have done. So, whenever you're using stickers or chipboard pieces, foam pieces, stuff like that, and you're not 100% sure it's going to stay where you're putting it, use your embossing powder, the powder you use to remove static. Use it on the back of those elements so that way they become basically like ephemera pieces, and you can move them around and you don't have to worry about possibly ripping your paper. I think that's very important. I almost ripped, I think, where the camera is down at the bottom, but I was moving it up some, so you can't really tell that I tore the paper, but I'm just saying, you know, it can be risky, okay? And now I'm just trying to figure out the title. So I pulled out story, best story. I was thinking maybe we could do them in 2 different places with the words. But I actually wind up finding an ephemera piece right there. And it says make time, for good things. And I was like, you know what? That's so true. We made time for this weekend. You know, we all took the time off. We saved and did what we had to do to get up to hang out with a bunch of great ladies. And, you know, that sentiment to me was just perfect. So now, what did I have in my hand? Oh, one of the pieces I forgot to put in, so I had to put it into the package. Now we're going to go through here and see what we can find. So, I did I want to use that shelf thing so bad, but I just don't know. Sometimes some things are just too big, you know, and we gotta figure it out. Now, I'm going to have a little bit of trouble right here. So trying to pull up the sticker, this is when I was thinking to myself, you know what? You didn't do what you were supposed to do. You should have put some powder on the underneath of it to not make it a sticker, you know? But alas, we're just going to keep adding some things. I do wind up using, I think, that camera there. So we wind up having 2 cameras on the layout. Those are like push pins. So I think we're going to use that. And I was going to put the sentiment on top, but I think what I wind up doing is moving the camera up and then using that, I think it says best friends on the bottom. Yeah. The best of friends is what that says. And then, of course, the typewriter, because when else are you going to use it? Might as well use it. If you like it, put it there, you know. And we're just going to start gluing some of these down. And then this is where, like I said, I was having the issue. Very rare does that really stick like that. I didn't press it down, so I thought I had time to lift it up. But you just got to be careful. If you're wanting to move things around, just use your powder on the back so that way you don't have to worry about it. All right, so now we're just gluing our elements. And then I could have popped up that butterfly, but I decided to just pop up the ephemera piece on the right. That's what we're using for our title. And I just keep adding our little elements. And then I think I wind up cutting a little bit of foam tape, for the heart that's in my hand. And I tried to trim it down, cut the little bit of the heart itself. But again, it's one of those things where you don't really notice. All right. So now we have the balloon. I just thought that balloon dog was so cute because we had balloons at the event that was like an area where people could take selfies and stuff. So I thought that was good to add there. And then we're going to take the backing off, add our glue for the sentiment. And then really that is it. Now I did have a thought. I'm going to try and do my splatters because, you know, it's very rare that I do something like this and I don't have splatters. But I didn't have any of my photo cover uppers. So I had to get creative. So I'm trying to block stuff with my hand and tap closer to the actual page. So it winds up to me looking more like it's in the 4 corners, but I'm not mad at it. And we're just going to do, I think I just did gold and white. And I got a little bit on that photo with Beatrice and Anna, but I was able to get most of it off. And there's the layout, really. Now, there is one thing I do decide to do at the very end, which is add some gems. And I'm just looking for them to show you. Yeah, these are the gems. I'm going to add them to the cameras and kind of a little bit, but you'll see them in the close-ups, okay? So again, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video for today. I'm having so much fun with these Simple Stories templates. They're just making life so much fun, really and truly. So I hope you bear with me. I have more photos, some of the same photos that I wanted do, just in bigger sizes. So yeah, you're probably going to get sick of me after a while, but oh well. Thanks you guys again, and have a great weekend, and I'll see you with our next video.